Every child, every person has a dream, perhaps one they don't tell anyone, perhaps something that for each individual seems unattainable. Being supplied education enables a person by giving them the skills they need to someday obtain that hidden dream. It is an incredible sensation to realize that you are staring the future in the face, and with the promise of education beneath you, you get to take a running head start straight at it. Education means an opportunity to learn what you need to learn to get yourself on a path headed full force toward your dream. Without it, a person's dream is just a dream.
You're next in line to love.
School system work? Well, prior to 1870, the school system actually was not government regulated, but rather run solely through charitable and private institutions. What changed this, you ask? The Education Act of 1870 permitted local governments to build upon the existing elementary school system, and by 1902, local authorities were able to build their own secondary schools, also known as high schools. Through this Education Act, many schools became funded through legislative assistance, and it was not until 1918 that state-funded schools would become free of charge, birthing the free public education system that currently provides education for 93% of British students. So what about the other 7%? Well, rather than agreeing to be taken over by government, some private institutions decided to remain private. These schools would form what are now called independent or public schools. So private schools are public schools? Yes. But what's the difference between public schools and state schools? Well, public schools are simply what private schools in Britain are called. In the year 1988, the British government created a national curriculum that all state-funded schools must adhere to. However, public or independent schools are exempt from following this curriculum. Independent schools are still closely monitored and evaluated by the Office for Standards in Education and Child Services and Skills. These offices make sure that the school is running properly, educating the children, and providing them with their daily cup of tea and crumpets. The information taken from these schools must be published online, allowing families to research their options. Although different in curriculum, all British schools follow the same path of education. The stages of British are comprised of 5 key stages. The first stage consists of the foundation years, which is comprised of years 1 and 2. This is the beginning of education, similar to kindergarten through the earliest years of elementary school. Next is Key Stage 2, which is years 3 through 6, the rest of the elementary years. Key Stage 3 consists of years 7 through 8, the awkward middle school stage, and the beginning of secondary school. Key Stage 4 is years 10 through 11, or ages 15 to 16. With the Education Act of 1972, all students must complete their schooling to this point. For those who wish to continue, as almost all do, they will stay in secondary school for Key Stage 5, years 12 through 13. However, one does not simply walk into the 5th stage. They must first face the General Certificate of Secondary Education, also known as the GCSE. The GCSE is similar to the SAT or ACT, except it can only be taken once. It's taken inside of a concrete room with no windows, and determines the rest of your future for, well, forever. The test must cover at least 5 subjects, though some universities require 8 or more, which are chosen by the student from the 48 available. The only requirements are math, science, and English. With the completion of this test, students can decide 2 paths, educational or vocational. Educational would be to continue on the 5th stage and go on for 2 more years of vigorous academic work. Vocational would mean to go into the job market and become a man, or a woman, whatever you choose. Key Stage 5 is when students are allowed to truly hone their academic abilities. Through rigorous curriculum of advanced level classes and international baccalaureate classes, students will average about 5 hours of in-class study per subject every week, as well as 6 hours of private study, or as it's called by Americans, homework. In addition to the core subject classes, students may also use time to attend general studies in subjects such as philosophy, arts, and physical education. Students are also offered a chance to learn in less conventional settings such as museums, galleries, scientific companies, concerts, historical sites, and religious centers. Rather than just focusing on academics, schools choose to culture their students, making them well-rounded individuals. After Key Stage 5, students are sent off to choose their own destiny, whether that's going to college, starting in the workplace, or even becoming a wizard.